G'day friends, welcome to today's YouTube video. My name is James, welcome back to my channel, and welcome if you're new. Today I'm going to be working in my travel journal and I'll be documenting the second day Steve and I spent in Paris. It's going to be really relaxed, really laid back. I really wanted to give this more of a dramatic tone, I guess. You'll see when I edit, when I have edited together the kind of look at the day that we had. I'm going to combine days 2 and 3 together since Steve did get a little sick the next day, so we did kind of take the day off for him to get rested up. So I'm going to combine a couple of days together, but this is mostly about our trip to Dior and a few little things we saw around Paris as well. I'm going to show you that video and then get myself set up. I'll be back to journal with you real time after that. Enjoy. This is day 2 in Paris for Steve and I, and we braved the metro again to make our way into the city for the Dior exhibit. I got a spot of journaling done on the train on the way there, and we made it without hassle today. We arrived at the iconic building and, having purchased our €12 tickets beforehand, made our way straight through to this incredible rainbow accessory and miniature staircase. They were all coordinated by color. There were miniature versions of couture dresses. There were full-size hats, shoes, and accessories. It was unbelievable and such a wonderful start to the entire tour. The tour is really big and it is really long, and there's so much to see. And first up, the Dior New Look, an iconic piece of fashion history. The Enchanted Gardens was part 2 of the walkthrough tour, and there are 13 parts in total, so there's a lot to see. It was a beautiful room that was kind of like a fairy forest. It was very dark, very woodsy, and had these incredible laser-cut paper ceiling decorations. It was also really interesting to see all the sparkles and how they shone in that darkness. You wouldn't assume putting them in that setting would be the best for it, but it was really captivating. And this room here, complete contrast, bright, light, airy, garden-filled, and a magnificent dress here, the Lily of the Valley inspiration that Christian Dior just absolutely loved. The paper flower ceiling was just incredible. Here is an homage to the different designers that have worked for the house throughout history, and then Christian Dior's office as it was incredible. There was a small collection of Christian Dior's personal artworks that he collected on display as well, some sculptures, some art by René Gruat, one of my favorite fashion illustrators. There were also many original sketches that you could look at, and they were truly magnificent. This part of the exhibit was my absolute favorite. I'm someone that loves to look behind the scenes and peek behind the curtain, see how something was done, look at the process, and this room of toiles, these white muslin mock-ups of these garments, were just incredible. You got to see the tiny little adjustments that were, slated to be made. You got to see the little pins that were holding things together to, accentuate the drapes, and essentially these are what become the pieces you see down the runway. These are the first drafts of those. There was also a member of the atelier showing couture techniques. I think these were pin tucks, and it was really wonderful to have a really hands-on experience as well, and I just loved it. That was my favorite part of the exhibit. That blue dress right there was worn by Princess Diana, fun fact. And this is some of the haute couture that's on display. That Japanese-inspired collection, those massive oversized origami pieces, were by John Galliano way back in the day, and I love it. It's one of my favorite fashion collections of all time. It was also really interesting to see some of the jewelry up close, and just haute couture in general. I don't think I realized until I got there that I had never seen haute couture pieces that close and with that much detail and the intricacies. It was really exciting to be able to get that close to it and to see just how different that type of garment is. I'm eating my words a little bit here, but I think this might have been my favorite part of the exhibit. This whole room was projection mapped with this entire sequence of just displays. It was really, really wild to see them change. And I spent a good 15 minutes watching the rotation over and over again, and it is really, really pretty. My favorite part, I mean, no surprises here, the glitter falling from the ceiling and streaming down to the ground was, I mean, I couldn't move. I was entranced. Just beautiful. And they had the Junon dress on display as well, which if you're a Wicked fan might look very familiar to you. It was the design that inspired Glinda's dress in the musical. Took everything within me not to snatch up all these magazines as we finished the exhibit. There were still a few more sections to go. There's a miniature of the Junon dress, including this room, which I titled the Emerald City. It was green velvet, very deep, plush green velvet, and it was a big display of miniatures and accessories again. Really beautiful costume jewelry pieces, stunning displays of lipsticks and perfumes, and a little collection of Lily of the Valley pieces, which hold a bit of a special place in my heart, having looked at those and studied a bit of that through our first virtual voyage. I should also mention that headpiece was not the one that I was inspired by, but it was from a collection that inspired that illustration she leapt off the page back when I first started all of this art journaling YouTube experience, and it was very special to see some of that as well. The Gold Room kind of marks the end of the experience, and you can visit the cafe for a $40 salad if you would like. We opted out of that, signed the guest book, and then decided to go out to another cafe for lunch. Steve told me to draw something in there, and I got very nervous and ended up drawing this, so that is forever in that book. It's okay though. All in all, I give it 5 stars, 5 out of 5. Incredible experience. It should win all of the exhibit awards. It was amazing. We went to that little cafe. Steve had a quiche, I had a croque monsieur and a coffee, and then we headed over to Notre Dame. It started raining, storming actually, and at the risk of being packed into the metro with wet tourists, Steve and I decided to go back to our hotel and kind of wait it out there. It was nice to have a bit of a rest as well. We were feeling a little bit jet lagged. We then made our way over to the downtown Disney area for Disneyland Paris and had dinner at the Planet Hollywood there. Kind of a really random experience to go to Planet Hollywood in Paris. I always enjoy when I see American representations in countries that aren't America. It makes more sense to me, being someone that's not from the States that now lives here. It's just always really overboard, and I like that. So we had dinner there. Steve started feeling a little bit sick, and so the next day that we had scheduled for Disneyland Paris, Steve spent the whole day in bed and I was taking care of him. So we had a bit of a relaxed day, and that was really nice for me. I got to catch up on a lot of journaling and start to really flex on all of that inspiration that I was gathering from all of the experiences that we were having. I was really, really excited to start diving into fashion illustrations from all the Dior exhibit that we visited, and I really wanted to have a go at drawing some of Paris as well. The facade of the Dior building, I wanted to draw the Seine, the buildings that were along it. I was really inspired by Parisian rooftops. So this is my little journaling session while poor Steve was snoring his face off, passed out and sick, just behind me. Steve had a really good rest and then woke up. He decided that he did have an appetite for dinner, so that was good. We got some Italian, a pizza and a lasagna. It was not very good, but that's okay. We decided to eat it anyway, and we had a bit of backstage time, both disappeared into our phones for a little bit before we fell asleep and got rested up for our day at Disneyland the next day. Very, very exciting, and I can't wait to share that with you as well. But this was day 2 and day 3 in Paris. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that little look at what we got up to. The Dior exhibit was probably one of the highlights of the trip for me, and cannot rave enough about it. Hopefully you enjoyed my little voiceover there. I wanted to try and give you as much of a look as to what we got up to, but I didn't want to voice over the whole thing. I really wanted it to be dramatic for you. So hopefully that was enough information for you to get about our day. We did start off by getting some pain au chocolat, which is very French, I feel. And I even took some of the, actually I think this is from a different one, isn't it? This is most likely from a different one, but I'm going to use it for this. So I'm going to work on putting together my photos in my spreads, putting my ephemera in there as well. There's a lot of ephemera to put in. I also made this. I have some footage of making this as well. I'll overlay it here. I made this on my silhouette portrait. I just made a file in Photoshop that was all black, and then I had to put these little notches in there. There's a word for those. I don't know if they're called bridges or not, but essentially like it's like you're making a stencil. I wanted to use the Lily of the Valley, very classic for Dior, and kind of make this paper cutout since I was so inspired by the paper flowers that were in the exhibit. I love paper flowers, and I thought this would be a really nice way to kind of get that documented in there without actually making any 3D, like three-dimensional paper flowers, because that would just bulk it up a little bit too much. So yeah, I spent a little bit of time making this for no real reason, but I really like it. I think it's pretty. Can't wait to put it in. Oh, squeaky chair. Hopefully you can't hear that. All right, so we've got photos. We've got to start at the Metro, and the only other kind of bits and pieces I have for that are, of course, all these Metro tickets, and I have this little paper from the boulangerie, and then this little croissant that I drew, some little photos, so that should be a cute little throw together. And then we have Dior, which is pretty excessive. I have a whole bunch of photos. I also took a bunch of kind of close-up detail shots of things from the exhibit, like the little displays, especially these really interesting perfume displays. This is a lipstick display. I thought they were just so ornate. I wanted to capture those, as well as some sketches by Christian Dior. Now this one I did in my other journal. Is it in this journal? Yeah, there it is right there. So I'm just going to put that there because that is my little reference. Might have to slice it off a little bit. So this was not really for journal purposes, more just I wanted to remember that this was a direct reference from an original. It was so amazing to see all of those illustrations. I love fashion illustration. It's one of my biggest passions, and to see all of it really was just such a dream come true, but especially the illustrations. They all kind of yellowed. They weren't using that acid-free paper that we're so used to now. But anyway, so that's the sketchbook version. I also wanted to mention, before I grab all of this, there's some more ephemera here. I have some tickets, and I have the brochure that they gave us. And then I cut out a whole bunch of the little stars that was relevant to the exhibit. And then after that, we went out to eat. No, that's a different day. We went out to eat, and then we went over to Notre Dame, just kind of exploring the city a little bit. So I wanted to put some of that in there. And this is the next day, or like the nighttime. We went to Planet Hollywood, and then the next day Steve got sick. Poor thing. There he is. Absolutely exhausted. So I have some ephemera from that as well, but not much. In fact, for that day, I more have all of this, like the tissues for poor Steve, and just food stuff, really. This, what else do I have? Oh, here. I pulled out a whole bunch of Collage Club printables. These are all on photo sticker paper, well, not photo, matte or gloss sticker paper, but that means they're just kind of big sticker sheets. So this, I want to use some of these to decorate the backgrounds a little bit and just kind of frame up photos really nicely, because there's a lot in there that I think I can enjoy using to decorate. And then all of these I've picked out for different reasons. These ones obviously do relate because they're French themed, but this was from Virtual Voyage number, oh goodness, don't ask me, 5? It's the very villainous voyage. Yeah, so it was 5. I wanted this because I went to visit Notre Dame, and I've never seen it before. And I mean, I've seen it, but I never actually went up to it. And so this is Frollo from The Hunchback. So I wanted to get that. So there are a whole bunch of pages that I've just pulled out, like Cruella. They're just fun fashion illustrations. It kind of reminds me of France. Marie Antoinette, very Bridgerton inspired. That was, I think, my first month of Collage Club. Well, the first release, anyway. And Devil Wears Prada, Andy Sachs. Even this I thought had a very Dior feel to it, this page divider. So there were all bunches of Collage Club ephemera that I decided to go through just so that I could use this as decoration as well. You know, I love to rework my own work into all my other journals. So there's lots of that to choose from. Just to give you a heads up of what I've pulled before we even start, I have this. This is beautiful Lily of the Valley PET tape that was gifted to me. It's going to come in super handy. And then I have stickles. I just have a whole bunch of stickles. I might put this right on at the end because, you know, it takes time for these to dry. But the exhibit at Dior, the part where you see all the projection mapping and that glitter comes down, I mean, no better excuse for me than to put glitter all through my journal and document that. So let's just start kind of chronologically. I'm going to get this croissant in. And it doesn't need to be anywhere special. You can see all of these days kind of blend together as Dior days. And then there's the Notre Dame as well, a version of that. And then we go over to London. So I've got up until about here to get a lot of stuff in. And I think it should be doable. Yeah, I mean, I have lots of pages behind here as well that should be fine. If I need to jump back and forth, I'll probably go back to some of those back pages for more of my Dior stuff. So, let's see, because I think this is the facade of the Dior building. I want to put something Diorish here. I was thinking, it's always good to get these brochures in because you can put a lot of ephemera on them. But the problem when they're too big is that, like, I don't want it to go all the way over the edge, but I also don't want to lose some of the information on there. And this one does fold out a lot, and there's a lot of information. Technically, I don't really need all of the interior layouts, so I could just harvest down, like, page by page. I wonder what I should do. I have another one of these, so if I make a mistake, I guess it's really not the end of the world. It is a dilemma, Kim. If I put that there... And it's still too wide. Even if I cut it right down to the text block, it's still just too wide. So sometimes I'll go this way and I'll try and put a fold in it, but this is going to be way too thick if I fold it up, I think. Like folding that up like that. It's just, I think it's just going to burst open the journal every time you go to hold it. So, well, I do want these 2 pages of information, so I'm going to rip those out, and I think I can trim these down because the text blocks are paragraph, like the paragraphs are a lot thinner. So I'm just going to use my Tim Holtz trimmer, Tonic Studios trimmer. I love it, it's super portable. I have another one, but another bigger trimmer, but I don't like to fuss with the bigger one. Also, the bigger one doesn't have this guard, and this guard is actually really good, when I remember to use it, for clamping everything down and getting a super good cut, clean cut, especially if you're cutting off, like, you're trimming the tiniest bit off. You can't tend to do that with other trimmers that don't have that little push guard. So this now becomes the right size, and that's good information for me. What do I want to do with it? Do I want to put it in like this? Or do I want to glue one page down here and then have this one flip? Maybe I'll do that. I'll glue this one and then flip the other one. This needs to be a tiny bit thinner. See, this is what I mean. You only want to cut off like a teeny tiny bit. That guard really helps get the whole thing trimmed up nicely. There you go, good. I'll just trim off a little bit at the bottom. I am going to glue this one. Sorry, I got really close to the microphone there. If something's full page, I tend to enjoy, well not enjoy, but I tend to prefer to glue it. And somewhere around here, I keep a folder of scrap papers. But wouldn't you know it? It's gone as soon as I need it. Come on. Oh well, I'll use this. This looks like a good scrap paper. I only need it because I like to go right up to the edge. It keeps everything really secure. You don't have to be the perfect gluer for your travel journals, but any journal that's going to be handled a lot, you want to at least make sure it goes out to the edge. because peeling from the edges will tend to peel up the whole thing. There we go. And then if your edges aren't properly glued down, you can always run a bit of tape along the edge. And even though you can tip everything in, I would avoid tipping everything in. Like, not everything needs to be a flap or a fold out. And I say that because you're just adding more pages to your journal. And if you're going to bulk up something a lot like you do in a travel journal, that is not going to work out well for you when you want to close the book. And I think this is kind of the first time I've done this with a travel journal to this extent, with like this much ephemera. Usually I would use one of my other smaller journals with less pages, but I'm gonna see if this works out. If it doesn't, it'll just be a big chunky journal. I won't be mad at it, but use clear tape whenever you don't want to. Cat hair on it. Whenever you don't want to cover up what you're tipping in. And I can take this all the way to the edge, line it up, and then push down. Really get your finger in there to lay it flat. And tape both sides. There we go. Extra page. I'm going to do it up towards the edges as well, just because I don't like it when they fly open and get caught. You could run one long piece down the page, but this is clear tape, so you know it's a little bit more conspicuous. Inconspicuous? Suddenly forgotten how to use that word. You don't notice it as much. Thank you to everyone that's been following along with this journey. I know it's a very slow process, pardon me. I like to pretend we're just hanging out together and you're journaling and I'm journaling and you're picking up tips and then you leave me wonderful tips in the comments and I really appreciate it. I do sometimes worry about changing my content from time to time because, especially if you do a series, people don't like it. You're kind of setting people up to disappear for a while from your channel. That's why I've been alternating between the videos. I did leave this one a little bit late, so probably seeing this really late. This, I do want this. This was the sections of the exhibit. There was so much to see in there. And I'm not really starting with Dior just yet. I just want to get this in. Why do I want to get this in? Why did I start with this? I don't even know why I started with this section. Probably wanted to challenge myself, straight up. Okay, so here, this is where I'd probably have to go sideways with this so that I can have both pages. And I can, got a few different things I could do. Ooh, sink is making funny noises. I can do it this way, and I can kind of tape it on the edge there. What's over the other side? Nothing really, just some drawings. I can kind of tape it over the edge, crease it in the middle. Because then it will fold. Or, do I want to crease it in the middle and attach it here? I don't know. The issue I'm having is that I kind of want to see the, pardon me, I don't know what's going on with my voice, I'm so sorry. I want to see the Dior, probably from all my screaming. I went to Moulin Rouge the other night and I screamed my face off for my birthday. It's such a good time, but goodness. I could put this in here, possibly attach it to this. And I'm just adding more pages. No, I don't really need that. Am I likely to read this? Yeah, I do want to read that. You know what? If it takes too long, you just got to go first thought, best thought. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it down here, so it's a little bit more out of the way. And I'm going to put half Oh, I hate it when I get little hairs on it. Why is there hair on all my tape? Cats? Care to explain? There you go, put it there, and then just flip it over the edge. All good. So it's a tip-in of a very interesting orientation, but there you go. I get to see everything, it fits. I need to reinforce the crease so that it folds naturally when I close the book, which I will say, when you do add more and more bulk to your journals, you'll notice that you'll have to retrain some of your creases for your tip-ins and stuff, so don't worry if you felt like you did it right when you put it in there, but then a few days later, once all of your other stuff's in there, you feel like it's wrong again. It's not. It's just because you've added more and your spine looks different. There we go. See, I might just fold that a little bit over so that it doesn't sit in the crease. That way I can keep that separate. All good. All right, let's go figure out where I want to put my little boulangerie. And I like this idea, really. So that's what it is. Just don't want to cover everything up. So put a little bit of tape there. And a little bit of tape here. And on the other side, I mean, this is a really thin piece of paper. You don't really need to reinforce it too much, but just so that it folds nicely. It's always good to do it on both sides. And always try and pick a little bit that doesn't interfere with the rest of the drawing. You can be really finicky and kind of cut around it so that it doesn't touch the tape doesn't touch your drawings. But if it's invisible tape, it doesn't matter. Okay, Metro, boulangerie. Metro, 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 Metro tickets, croissant. That's what I want. I'm just gonna clean up the edge a little bit. Sorry, I try to do all my cutting off camera because I think it's boring to watch. But I do like to fussy cut from time to time. Now that I have my silhouette, I really don't find myself fussy cutting much anymore. Yeah. So this is where I felt like might be good to add some of this. I like the pink. What's great about this is a sticker and the background's a sticker. So I can just stick things on top of everything else. Just line it up. I'm gonna cut a tiny border. And then stick this onto, maybe just onto the back. I just need to cut out another size relative to the front. There's a better way to do this than the way I'm doing it, but don't worry. So now I'm going to stick the two. I could just stick it straight onto the back, it will be fine. But I could also stick it straight onto the sticker part of it, to the sticker. That'll be thinner, but I don't mind if it's a little thicker, so I'm just going to line it up towards the edge. And then just going to slice that border, clean it up a little bit. And then I've got a nice colorful little border. If I was smart, I would have left a bit more at the bottom, then it could have been more of a Polaroid look. Alas, I don't always think. We can try that with a different one. There's that. Now I want to attach it. I'm going to use the double-sided tape for this. There you go. That looks good. And there's a bit of a reveal for the Dior. probably journal a little bit on the back. So I'm going to use my glue and stick my croissant there. And I'll most likely just journal on this little part here, the white part of the paper that just is behind my photo. And because it's slightly see-through, you can still see some of that pattern, which is nice. The whole goal, I think, with adding all your ephemera and all your photos and all your junk is just to have a very tactile, textural, you know, layered and exciting journal. So that's what I go for. Just want to glue that down a little bit. All right, then we get into Dior. So Christian Dior me here. This I think would stand out better with the dark background. So just thinking I could either do that or I have this. Now that looks good and it's leaves, so that fits. Could try and do it over that because there's no need to see any of that. Sometimes I'll use my thumb to crease wherever I need to cut roughly rather than measuring, because this has guides, so if you line up the edges you'll be straight. I'll just trim that up quick and then I'll refine it from there. I haven't done these big background pages for Collage Club in a while. I should bring them back. Could be quite useful. There we go. Instant background. And I'll still use some of this stuff as well. So keep all that. And then this can go on top. Originally I did leave a little bit more space here because I thought I would tape it in like a tip in, but I think I'm going to tape it from the top, so now I'm just going to trim that down a little bit so it looks a little bit more even. There you go. Need some washi tape. What washi tape to choose? There's so many to choose from. I think, should I just go black and white? I'm going to go black and white dots. Classic. The black and white dots remind me of flocked netting, flocked tulle. Russian, I think it's called Russian netting. Here's that thing again where I get picky about being the same distance. So I need the same distance of the black on either side of the tip in, but the distance between the top to this sticker and then the top of this to the top of the washi tape and then the washi tape to here, like it all needs to be even. It's the only time I ever get really finicky, I find. Just because that's just really satisfying to me when I see the separation. It all steps evenly. Sounds like I'm being insane, but that's a part of filming it live for you that I feel like you don't get to hear if I have a voiceover, because how on earth would you explain that without pointing at it and saying that? Even then, I don't even know if I'm explaining it properly. Oh, I've got to calm down. I get too excited, then I start yelling. Just here for a relaxed Dior stream of conscious thought. I don't have any of the Metro stuff in there. Should I do Metro on here somewhere? Yeah, I feel like we can do Metro over here. I mean, that just seems like an obvious place to put the photos, so I think I'll just put them there. Do my little lopsided trick so I can fit them all in. There we go. And I don't know why, but I feel like stapling some of these tickets here. I'm gonna do that. Here's my main attacher. Here it is. Love it. Just a bit of something extra. This tape is bothering me a touch. So thank goodness I have my good old 3cm Parisienne tape. This one's old school. Perfect. I'm not trying to theme my washi tapes too much, but if I do have the perfect one, this would be the time to get it out. I mean, that's my advice for you too. If you're a washi tape collector like me, that is at least a moment to stop and think, do I have something that I could finally use after all these years that I'm willing to put in this journal? We always feel like they're gonna run out. Honestly, I've only ever run through a few rolls of washi tape, so you're good. This is really the only other Dior ephemera I have, is just these little tickets, which I almost want to just staple in as well. I don't really want to add anything extra too much. I can't put them under there because that'll show. Should I put them here? I do have a photo of the Dior New Look, but then you're not really seeing through nicely, so I'll leave that. Do I put them here? I guess it really doesn't matter to see. What if I cut it? That's nice. Staple that in there before I change my mind. And maybe just this little bit. Great. Next, we have some big photos. This one is one of my favorites. This one has to go sideways and kind of fills up a whole part of the spread. This is from the room with all the toiles, or the white muslin mock-ups, and I think I want to put that there. I want to use this for reference to draw, so I can go there. And I have a few others. This is really beautiful. This is the Lily of the Valley little collection. You can see the little perfume, the little dress. This is in a room where they had a bunch of miniatures. There was a lot of stuff on display that were miniatures, and then this had like full-size stuff as well, but I thought that was really interesting. And shall I put, no, you know what, I'll use that tape, that PET tape. Put that over there. See what, we'll go over the top. Well, that looks nice. Those are cute. I like the simplicity of that. Look at that big bow. Oh, there's too many good ones to choose from. Do I want the big bow? I don't really want it to go over that photo, I don't think. I think I'll choose this one. That one sits really nicely in that space. And it's still got a ribbon on it. Even though these are clear, because they're glossy, I'd like to cut around them closely still. Fussy cut them a little bit. Not because I don't want to see the gloss, but if you end up using a pen or something close to your sticker, you won't be able to write over it. Great. Love that. We could probably try and put some more around here that might fit in these spaces. Luckily it's a see-through tape. You can kind of judge it by holding it up. I really like that one. I'll cut that one out and see what I can do with that. I'll put it there. I'm trying to fit it into this space. Well, she's holding something. I wonder if I can try and make her hold it. Is there anything else she could hold? That's actually really fun if she held the big one. I don't mind if I cover over the top of that. I do that in my art journaling a lot. Play with the scale. So her holding completely unrealistic size flowers really speaks to me. And I love the bell shape of this flower. Back in Virtual Voyage, the original Virtual Voyage workshop #1, we did a Christian Dior study. And our port of inspiration was called Avant Garden. So this was also really fun to see a lot of that as well, because we were looking at Christian Dior's favorite flower being Lily of the Valley. And then we did that, the Lily of the Valley bar jacket. The bar jacket being one of the most, I guess, infamous pieces to come out of Dior. Obviously the most infamous being the New Look, with the bar jacket being a part of that. There you go. Covers her a bit much, but what can you do now? It's already stuck down. It's not going to kill me. Next, what else have I got back here? Well, this is a pretty good page for some more photos. I might want to add a bit of a background to it first. So I have this, which is hectic. I have this, which I think is a little juvenile. This seems a little, maybe not. Or this is actually really crazy. Maybe not that. Maybe I'll just leave it the way it is. How about that? And I'll just fill it with photos. So I'm going to put anything that was from that room over there, and then anything that wasn't from over here. Oh, see this, I drew this in this as well. I need to put it in there. I loved the elegant look of that over the shoulder angle. I never draw that angle, so it was kind of challenging. These are decorative little bits. They can go anywhere really. I used her as inspiration for, where is she? This one. So I'll put that in there. There's the Dior New Look. That can go over. This is actually a miniature version of one of the muslins. They had these tiny, I'm not even joking, they wouldn't have even been any bigger than that. These tiny little dress stands, dress forms, and then they had miniature versions of the clothes on them. And that there was a lot of miniatures in this rainbow setup as well, which is really cool. Love that. That was the room at the end. This is at the start, so that can go over here. There you go. So got a semi-order going on. Doesn't matter too much, but at least now I can keep the photos in photo families, I guess. So this is us arriving. To put this on here somewhere. Put it down the bottom. good. It's my tape runner. It was only €12 to see this exhibit. I would have paid a lot more to go and see it. Not that I want them to raise the prices, but I was quite shocked. I think it was worth a lot more, but Dior aren't really starved for money, are they? They're not hard up on cash. Back in high school, my mum would get me little samplers of perfume so I could test them out and see which ones I liked. Cologne, I should say. And I used to really like one called Dior Fahrenheit. And back when I really wanted to be a fashion designer, one of my biggest inspirations was the Dior Haute Couture shows, especially when John Galliano was designing for Dior. I just thought it was so fantastical and absolutely loved it. One of my favorite collections is from Dior Haute Couture. This is the bow that I tried to draw there, so I feel like this can go in here. Ooh, just ripped it. That's also the good thing about having them as stickers. Even if you rip it, they go back together perfectly. Try not to rip it, but you know, don't fret. Just reinforce those creases every now and again. Just gonna put this back with the drawing I did. You know what, I'm gonna put that up there as well, because I don't know if I'll have any room to put it over here, unless I cut the actual thing out, which I can do that. Sorry, I just knocked the camera. It is so nuts to see these things in person. The level of detail is just wild. And it hadn't occurred to me that I don't think I'd ever been up close to anything haute couture before. I've definitely seen a lot of designer stuff, and I've been to a lot of the stores where they sell it, the ready-to-wear, but to actually see an haute couture piece, like, it is nuts. And it felt very special walking around his studio. You almost had to, like, you couldn't believe that it was the actual place. Like, that's where it all happens. Even still, today. Like, it's still happening there today. And this is just a little drawing reference that I felt like I was going to have a go at, so I'll put that somewhere. Maybe some of these darker photos can go back here. Is that going to be weird? Oh no, you don't really even notice it. Now, got a lot of this going on. I do have these little stars here too, but I think I'll save those for when I go into speed, because watching me pull all those apart will probably send you a little crazy. Should I put that in there too? Oh, that works perfectly there. This was the guest book we signed at the end. Steve told me to do a little illustration in there, and I got so nervous. I drew something that is almost like nothing I would have really drawn. I thought, you know what, I'll put it in there. It's real. It is what it is. I'm allowed to fangirl and be crazy sometimes. See, now I've just taken away all the darkness in the background if I do that. This is so pretty. Imagine being tasked to create this little, I don't know, Roman, what is this? Like, it's like a Colosseum for a little perfume bottle. Just nuts. All right, have some more drawing references. Maybe I'll just make this like a bit of a drawing references page. There's Steve and I in that room. I want these in here somewhere. And that. And this can be for drawing references. I have drawn this blue gown before. This one. I took a photo of this. I took a photo of most of them, but this one I found really interesting because it was like origami. And just to see fabric manipulated like that so precisely. This one, back in a live stream, when we first started live streaming throughout the pandemic, I think we saw a video of them setting up the exhibit or like getting it ready or talking about it, or it had been somewhere and they were bringing it to Dior after that or something. I saw this dress in it and I thought it was so beautiful. So I drew a version of it. I drew like Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz. I've drawn it a few times actually. Drawing references. This needs to go. Sorry about the sirens. Could put it down there like that, but I feel like that's no. Maybe I want it on just a little bit of this black. Do I care if I cover up some of those ribbons? I don't think I do. But I do, maybe I do, because I like to see how I'm learning. Sometimes I really just don't get it right. I might just have to tip this in. Could I do it with some of these? Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to stick these together. And then stick that like that. Do you know what happens when you do this? You have to slice off the edge because it's a sticker backing. So if I just slice through here, I can reveal the sticker. Uh-oh, took off the backing. I didn't cut through enough. There you go, I'll put that back on. There you go, you just keep that part revealed. It's a roundabout way of doing it. It's not the easiest way to do it, but it's what I'm doing. Didn't line that up properly. Whoops. All right, never mind. Did I put it on the wrong way? Oh no, there it is. That can go this way. Some tape. What other tape do I have that might be French? I have some travel looking tape. Or maybe I'll just use a color. Do I have anything green? I do really like this Mina Peronin MT tape. I think it's beautiful. Whenever I peel off washi tape and I just rip off little edges, I put them on the side of my desk, and by the end of my art journaling, my desk is just lined up with all these little bits and pieces of washi tape. Does anyone else do that? Where do I want this? Here? Here. Ooh. Sometimes I will just get the little piece and I'll use it as the backing. That looks nice. See, for stuff like these stars, they're really great for filling in little spots like that. I'll rip off these too. How about that? Oh, I have a stamp here too. That would be pretty. Might end up putting that over there. when I go to angle something, when I go to place something and I feel like it's an odd area to place it in, I want to try and fill up as much of that negative space as possible, but I will like twist something to try and see if the contour of the edge doesn't kind of lock in or like puzzle piece in to what's already there. So say if I went to go and put this here, right? If I put it here like that, that's fine, it's going to fit that way, but I know that if I start twisting it around, I can try and find a better angle for it, and then there you can see how it kind of locks into that edge. It all depends on what shapes you're using, right? But for this, you know, there's a bit of a benefit to having those cut out areas. I might put that there. Should I put that there? Or do I want them overlapping? Maybe I want them overlapping. And then if I'm lazy, I'll fold over the edges. If I'm not lazy, I will snip them off. Sometimes I'll even grab the little extra bits that I cut off, put them on as well. Maybe down here. Waste not, want not, right? Now, I've only got these really left from Dior, and I'm going to have a drawer, a Dior drawer. I'll do that later. These might want to go somewhere else. I wonder if I just want to keep these as decorations for the future. I'll have to do those too. Uncertain right now what I want to do with these. Oh wow, that sticks out way too far. Twist it a little bit. That's better. All right, these photos, what am I going to do? I don't really want to put this in there, not the fourchettes. No, not that. This is cute, this little craft. It's very thick. I need to get a thinner piece of the craft. Let's do craft Polaroids. So stick this down. And then to cut a wider edge at the bottom. And then a thinner edge on the side, short back and sides. This is what I'm going to say. Top, really top and sides. You know the haircut? If you're a boy and you go in and you say, I want short back and sides, they know what you're talking about. I still say that to this day. Even though I know I'm supposed to tell them that I want to fade, sometimes I just feel like if I say that, they're going to think I don't really know what I'm talking about. Because I don't. I don't want them to know that I don't know what I'm talking about. So I'll just say, short back and sides, please. Now that I am cutting my hair again, now that I've ditched the long locks, which I did just before this trip, because I had a conversation with Steve and I was growing them out to donate them, and I said, well, I don't really want to have long hair in Paris and have to deal with it. Like, I don't want to have to take care of it. So the only real way to get around that was to chop it off. There you go. Oh, I'm liking the craft. Looks very organic. Now, the dilemma is, how do I get them onto this page? A part of me wants to maybe put a pocket in, like a transparent paper kind of pocket. I do have some paper here. And if I just put maybe a corner pocket in, I can just slot all of them in. But you're going to then not be able to see that. Do I want to put it down here? It'll cover up my little Lily of the Valley thing. I mean, that's not a reference or anything, it's just decoration, so I guess I could. What else have we got going on? I do want them here. Or I could fold this over and put the pocket in like a tip in. Maybe I'll do that. Okay. So, how wide is the, I mean, they can all slot in like this. There doesn't need to go wide. I will put a bit of tape runner. I'm gonna get right up to the edge. That's good. And I'll do a little bit of folding on the bottom so it looks like an envelope or something. Truth be told, I forgot that I had to do the bottom as well. I should have put tape on the bottom, but you know what, this will be cute. Be a little envelope. There you go. Or a present. It's nice. I hate when I put on too much tape. Sometimes you can rub it off, or at least lose the tack. There we go. Now, if I put those in, that's still a little too big to cut it down a bit. Got to press those down so they don't get caught. There we go. Oh, that is so Gorgina. Love it so much. I do really want another light greeny kind of tape. Oh, I have this. This is from Job's Journal, Creator Box, ages ago. It's one of my only other green washi tapes. Make a mental note, Kath. Get some green washi tapes, please. There we go, ripping off those little bits again. There goes some of me again. Down low, up high. Where's all the bulk happening in this book? Sometimes I'll see if there's a little bit of a... Oh, up high, can you see? If you squeeze, there's a lot happening down here, but you can squeeze it thinner up the top, so probably better to have it higher. Having said that, I don't want to cover this, so we're going to go down here. That's probably why I keep making that decision. And clear on the back. It's really cute. I like that. Do I have any sticker I want to put on there? Dior? No, I think I like that it's see-through. Okay, get rid of that. There's so much paper everywhere now. This is what happens every time I start playing. Just get junk everywhere. Oh, maybe I can put some of these on here. I'll put some of these on. This one on the side, or do I want it just kind of, maybe I want it half over that washi tape. Blend it in a little bit. Just like that. I think I'm going to snip this off just a little bit. Just in case I didn't get any of that tape right up to the edge. Now it's fully up to the edge. Why did you bend? Just must have got caught. That can probably go there. Or I did have this other I think this is my only other reference photo, but that's not going to fit. Put this down there. I took so many more photos than this, but I knew realistically I wouldn't be able to get every single photo into my journal. So, I mean, luckily I'll always have them. I have a bunch of photos in my photo journal as well. I got one more piece. I should put her here. I should put her here. And then another Lily of the Valley sticker washi. I put it there. You don't really see it from behind. From the front. Yeah, it's good. There's this big vase. I'll use this big vase. Vase? An American vase? Fun. That's it. That's what I want. I want it to look like a little note. Let's do that one. An envelope. Why do I've got no words. Oh no, I've got the right words today. What else is new? Okay. So these Dior things I'm going to leave as little decoration pieces for something else, probably. And then we have this. We have Notre Dame, which I have right there. There's Steve taking photos. I did a drawing of this in my journal. This one. That's it there. I don't think it would suit to have it on this page though. So I think I'm just going to make it a full page in here. Possibly here. The Eurostar page. That seems right to me. I love the full page photos. And these are just taken on an iPhone. It's amazing how good iPhones are now. Perfect. So we went out to lunch afterwards. There's us at Notre Dame. And there's us at lunch. Could this all be on the same page? Or should we do lunch somewhere else? We'll do lunch somewhere else. I'll just leave this to be Notre Dame. Might even want to put some lettering up there. So I'm going to make a little collage of photos right in the middle. Lettering up here, journaling down here, I think. Put some of this in here as well, just for a bit of decoration. Steve took his camera and he had all intentions of doing like a big, you know, Parisian photo experience, but when he got sick, it was really hard for him to feel motivated to do anything, I'm sure you can imagine. And it's not like I really wanted to do much either when I got sick either, so I could relate, for sure. But I also tried to make him feel like it's not important. Like, if you want to do it, but don't do it because you feel like you have to do it. So I think sometimes he thinks, well, I'm a photographer, like I should be. And he does want to, but then it's different when you're on a holiday and you're trying to do a lot. Like, that's not really an environment conducive to feeling, you know, creatively free. Your mind's kind of scattered everywhere else trying to figure out what you need to do. So he got a few really nice photos, but for the most part, he didn't do very much photography, which I think is fine. Does this want to go here? I feel like that's cathedral-esque. So is this really. I'll put that there, that looks random. Here, here, here. Ooh, yeah, it almost chose for me. I'll put it here, then I can disguise the side of the photo. And it won't really get in the way of journaling, really. And it was all the same day. We were going to go into, what's the place called? Goodness, what's that place called? Musée d'Orsay. The line was super duper long. And if you've ever done like, I mean, I don't know how many people have done this Dior exhibit. It is so big, it's so extensive. If you've ever done like a museum day and you've just gotten to the end of it and you're like, that was so good, but I've been overstimulated with like so much that you couldn't possibly think about taking any more in. I didn't really know that was possible. But afterwards I was like, I've had my fill of inspiration for the day. I can't take it anymore. So we decided to skip that bit. This is nice. I just kind of like this vertical spread going on. Oh goodness, I hate when it does that. Come back, Jack, come back. Need to use glue for those thin papery pieces. And then let's do lunch. So that's back in Paris. There's that dress. Let's do lunch here maybe. Because this is just Parisian rooftops. Me in front, Steve in front. Steve in front. He looks very handsome. It's so funny to see his blonde hair now that it's black again. He's pretty sure he's going to dye it blonde again in November. I think I'm going to cut out the plates. There's not really much else going on in the photo. Steve had a quiche and I had a croque monsieur. I love it. I love breakfasty type foods like eggs. And this croque monsieur was so good. All the food was really good. Except when we got sick, well, when Steve got sick in Paris, we ordered from this, I want to say it's Italian, but obviously we're in France. But it's an Italian place, like pizza, pasta, because he loves pizza. And I was like, well, when you're sick and if you do feel like eating, you should eat the thing that you're probably going to eat the most of. It's my theory anyway. And it was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. And I love lasagna. It's one of my favorite meals. And it was absolutely shocking. I don't know what happened. The people weren't there. The people that served it weren't very nice either. But goodness, yeah, wouldn't be raving about that. So that's that. And then we have the getting sick, which, poor Steve. So here's some of this ephemera that we can use. I have Kleenex, Schweppes Lemon, that's for Steve. Noodles, cafe latte, noodles. This is a huge noodle packet. Might leave that for later. That could come in handy for something else. I don't need much ephemera for this, especially because I'm going to put Steve on this. I think I'm just going to pop that straight down there. There he is, poor thing. And then the Kleenex. I don't want to put this on. I just want to staple it on like my like my junk journals. I think I'll do that. Do you know what? I probably don't need the back, and it'll be a little bit thinner if I cut it off. I don't want to bulk everything up too much. I know this is garbage, technically, for a lot of people, but have you ever watched movies and films and stuff, and then they show you what McDonald's packaging looked like back in the 90s, and then you just feel really nostalgic for it? Or like what a cereal box looked like in the 80s, or the 60s and the 50s. I imagine that, you know, however many, 20, 30, 40 years from now, all of these packaging will look really different. Like, what about all those logos that have changed because, like, the style, like a more modern style was to have sans serif fonts. Like, styles come and go and change all the time, so I feel like even though technically it looks like trash to most people, this is what I'm probably going to be really excited to see when it all looks so different. I'll be able to remember what it looked like back in my day. And I can annoy everyone with that. These are like aluminium, so I think I might have to staple them. But I could just leave that like that for Steve. I'll put this here. Technically that's coffee. It wasn't this coffee, but will this stick, I wonder? I really don't think it will. I could washi tape it. Let me just washi tape it. I've got to have a coffee washi tape, surely. I've got tea. Do I not? Job's journal washi tape looks coffee housey. Just use that. That's nice. Bit of washi tape to pull it all together. And then, oh, this is me eating noodles when Steve was sick. Does that want to go under there? And then, do I want to, no. It's a horrible sound, isn't it? I wonder if I just put it over there. There's going to be a staple right behind it, but I want it on the same page. I was there, I was supportive. That's the only thing I don't like. The only thing I don't like about printing on glossy label paper is that it's just a little thin, and so sometimes if you're going over different types of ephemera, you'll see the crease lines in it in your photo. But to be honest, it is so worth it. Like, it's not even a thing that I think you should worry about. I do like the look of this section of this collage. I might try and pop this in here somewhere. Get it in there. Looks about right. Try and flatten the page first before I dig into the crease. The benefit to only loosely taping down and stapling things in is that you can always slot things underneath afterwards. And see how this looks like it's almost in the background, but we did that last, so that is a benefit. I'm gonna find a place for this piece of ephemera. Well, not ephemera, but this little collage bit. Really like the colors. I can pop it up here. And if I pop it up here, because it's sticky, I can fold it over and make a tab. Only a little one. This can be a tab too. Just a bit of extra fluff for the sides of the book. Where does this belong? Nowhere. It belongs here now. Alright, so then we had dinner at Planet Hollywood. Oh, that was before Steve got sick. Anywhere back here, do I feel like I want to add this? Not really. Oh well, I'll add it somewhere else. Let's add it here. Do you know what? This would be a good page for some of this. Those are really fun colors. And I might include, should I include the white edge? No, I'll take off the white edge. I only need a thin strip because I've already got that water bottle label there. That's good. Just take off those edges. So this was the night before. Steve was like pretty much sick at this point, and we went to downtown Disney because we wanted to see what it was like. And there was not much open by the time we got there. Actually, that's not true. There was a lot open. I think Steve just wanted to have, I think he wanted to have Planet Hollywood because he thought that if he ate some food that was like home that he might feel better, but it didn't really work out that way. I'll leave these for later. A little packet of forks. I just want this noodle thing somewhere because that's what I'm eating there. It's gonna cover everything. What if I just put this on? Bonsai noodle. Does that work? I can probably put it there. See if I can staple that on. There we go. Put a little bit of tape. Just there. Sorry, I keep hitting the thing. This is a massive piece of ephemera for this, so I don't need all of this. Just this bit. I mean, I'll just tip it in right there really, but just enough to put my pizza on. Do I have any pizza washi tape? I think I do have actually some Italian one. Where's that? I've just resorted all through these, so I probably won't be able to find it. Never mind. I will get... What colours have I got on that page? Green and yellow. I'm gonna use this one. We did go to another pizza place, or another Italian place, when we came back from London. And it was closer to like where all the shopping centre stuff is, near Disney. And that was really good. We much preferred that place. I think we went twice to that place. But yeah, this was the first one. We stayed in a place that really, like, it was just affordable, and I thought, you know what, we're only going to be at Disney, like, it's whatever. Big mistake. It was not the nicest area to be in. There was just kind of nothing there. You had to really kind of go 15 minutes anywhere to get to something, and so that's just not my ideal kind of holiday experience. I like everything to be within walking distance and for there to be lots of stuff around. So yeah, I did not remember, I just didn't check. It was my bad. So that is getting sick, having that. And that's really it. I mean, I have some leftover bits and pieces, but they're just really decorative. Like, these are my only 2 photos that I really have left over. And yeah, everything else, my little Dior stars, my little food wrappers here. This stuff I can use another time. So, I guess we'll go back to where we started. We'll have a quick flip, and then I will go into speed. Like sped up motion. I'll probably do some drawing, do some decorating. I don't know how much of it I'll get finished. There may be a chance that I'll just do some drawing and do some decorating, and then I might do the rest off camera. Just because there was a lot that we went into it, so I don't know how long I can film for before I have to get this edited. I will be honest, I left this to the last minute, this video, so I might not be able to get it all in there, but whatever I do get, I'll put it in there, and I'll make sure that we catch up for the next episode if I do anything else. But I'm trying to get as much of it on camera as possible. So we'll see. We have our little bakery. We've got our Dior exhibit brochure in there, which I'm really happy about. Some lovely photos, my little paper cut. Some more photos. References. I wanted to probably draw some of these. This beautiful little pocket with some craft Polaroids. I love that. We've got our Lily of the Valley stickers on there. Visiting the exhibit. I want to really decorate this page up something nice. Maybe I could pop this on here, on the back. Don't know. Seems like it would go. Did I want to cover that up? Did I care? Yeah, I care about covering that up. I remember I cared. This page here, some more drawing references. I can add little bits of decoration in here to fill that out. Notre Dame. Oh, some glue on there. My little sticker. I was going to put my Frollo sticker in there. There you go. We'll do that quickly before you go. There he is. These are actually Pictionary pictures that Steve drew for one of our games, and then I coloured them in really quickly with pencils. So that's that, and that goes like that, and that's perfect. I've been waiting for that for so long. So there's that. Big full page photo. Then we get into London, so we skipped a little bit. Steve getting sick, having awful Italian, and then skipped a little bit, and then kind of backtracking. This is what I mean. It was definitely bound to not be chronological at some point, but not everything really matters to be chronological, right? So that's there. And then we have our lunch. Sorry, I skipped this, but that's not relevant. So there was our big day. I hope you enjoyed seeing that come together. The next one is Disneyland Paris, which I imagine is probably going to be even more hectic because I love journaling Disney. It's something I practice pretty much every month. So I'll be looking forward to sharing that with you as well. Stick around for the sped up version of whatever I continue to get up to next. And like I said, I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Travel Journal. I'm looking forward to bringing you the next one. And until then, have a good time, enjoy your journaling, and I'll see you there. Bye.